podcast about the game of life and the hero's journey we all experience. Let's jump in with our host, Dylan Watkins, as he introduces today's guest.
Who wants to chat about VR esports, the entire VR industry, the past, present, and future? Well, on today, I have an excellent guest. His name is Wouter. I apologize about butchering that name. I did the best I could. I'm sorry about that. But he is into opening minds to all the worlds and opportunities that are being enabled by XR. It's what drives the passion for Wouter and for his upcoming tech wave. Wouter is the first who brought the concept of VR entertainment centers to the Netherlands. Now he is a VR teacher, business developer, and the head of VRNetherlands.nl, a full-service VR consultancies from location-based VR to VR sports to implementation and development of B2B concepts. Wouter is expert in bringing the gap between tech and the market through systematic thinking. So without any delay, I would like to welcome Wouter.
Hi guys.
Hey brother.
Important distinction right there. You said bringing the gap rather than bridging the gap.
Oh, bridging the gap. Oh gosh, so close, so close, so close. I was so focused on the name, man. I could tell. I could tell every time I said your name, I was like, ding. I was like, oh God, I'm sorry, ding.
Hi guys, I'm Jack.
AKA Jack. I know that. There's I know I've seen that with some of my friends that have more difficult to pronounce names, especially like if we go to like say local Starbucks here or whatever. Yeah. They don't want to deal with it, and they're like, just give me the American name. You know, maybe I have my friend named Michelle, and he goes, just call me Mike. I'm like, no, your name. I know your name. No, it's weird. No, stick with your name. Wow. Oh, brother, how you doing today, man?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty tired actually, because I had a short sleep and a big demo today, and well, a lot of stuff going on, but it's all fun stuff.
Nice. What time is it for you over there right now?
The correct way to say it's 2042. So for you American people, that's 8:42 p.m.
Okay, that's a long day. Well, in terms of like demoing technologies, can you say a little bit about what you're demoing?
Oh yeah, definitely. Do you have an hour? No, actually you do. But anyway, so we are gonna implement and launch a turnkey VR product, and we started developing it instantly when the wireless headsets came out, so the Oculus Quest, and well, we saw its disruptive potential immediately. I had 4 entertainment centers before the lockdown, and I decided to change routes because of obvious reasons. We saw what it could do, and I knew the business model in and out of entertainment centers because I ran a couple for years. So we created our own game, and then we had the game in 2020, and we thought, okay, how can we go farther with this? Because if we want to attract the larger customers like holiday parks, entertainment centers, the larger ones, they want a turnkey system. They don't want to install stuff themselves. They don't want to purchase all the hardware, and they don't want any bugs and whatever. So we got a how do you call it? I think you got the American word is the manufacturer, I guess. Okay. We partnered up with a manufacturer who is going to create a turnkey solution, and we have a leasing company, so people don't have to purchase the headsets; they can just lease it. And whenever a headset gets upgraded, you will go with the newest hardware, basically. Mm-hmm. Now it's done, and we're going to launch it, and we're going to go to trade shows, and that's why I'm tired as well. Like in the middle of the night, I had a call with someone in Hollywood, and to talk about more stuff and how we could implement it there as well. So
awesome. So location-based entertainment. So some sort of physical product that you leave on site that is basically VR in a box.
Yeah. Kind of I think, I don't know if you're able to share a screen, but it's much easier to just send you a video.
See that? I don't know if I'll be able to think, because there are some lag issues with trying to download and play it. So I might hit some frame spikes on this. Let me see. Oh yeah, everything's 48 minutes, man. If you had a 60 second sizzle,
no seconds. It's seconds.
Oh, is that 48 seconds? Oh, is that 48 seconds? All right. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see if we can rock this. I'm gonna let's okay. Give me 1 second here. Let me see what we can do. I gotta close a bunch of monitors, but while I do that in the background, how about you tell me just a little bit of how you got started in the whole VR space? What was the genesis, and what led you up to this moment?
Yeah. Well, well, I don't know how far back we're gonna go. I'm just gonna quickly summarize it. Up until between my officially my 18th and my 21st, I was a professional poker player. So I ran around the world, also to Vegas and Venice and stuff, to play poker when it was still easy to win. I quickly realized that the money didn't actually trigger me. It was more the learning part. The edge you can gain over certain type of things by just tweaking a little bit of data, and basically the approach is what I really like, the value mindset rather than the money mindset. And when I came to a certain level, I didn't like it anymore, even though I was literally crying on the steps of a beautiful hotel in Prague. Why the hell are you sad? But that wasn't the reason. I just felt like I'm not growing anymore, and I'm just getting money off of people who are addicted, basically. So I went to school, studied science and innovation management, quite broad. You can go anywhere with that one. There I learned that, learning by doing is more my thing than sitting still and looking at a teacher spewing and stuff. Then I went to sell solar panels, and that was my first actual job in an office. And I got scared, and not from myself, but is this what the general working focus? Is this what it's working is like? I was not really impressed. I thought, okay, wow, these guys must be super expert and they just grind all the time. But it's the Google skill level wasn't high enough for me. People didn't want to improve that much, and they just want to go to work, go to the end of their day, and that's it. And that's not me. I realized, okay, I'm more fitting into the entrepreneurial side, but I didn't have anything I could relate to. So I saw a video in 2015 of someone playing VR between my sales meetings. Well, and then you just go to YouTube. And I just called up my brother. I said, okay, hey, give me a couple of thousand. I'm just going to start something. I'm going to try something out. So I Googled, how do I become an entrepreneur? I literally Googled that one. I bought off the first consumer headset. So that's the Oculus Rift CV1 from a Kickstarter guy, because that was the first opportunity you could get it. I just started renting out to parties. I just I just upped my prices all the time until I got a no, and I could go up quite far. I realized, so I can make a business out of this. I can actually do this. So then I looked for personnel, and things got out of hand, and suddenly you have 3 entertainment centers and about 40 employees. So that was good fun. But at that point, when the venue started racking up, my inspiration went down again, because the creativity part was not really accessed anymore. It was just a copy paste rather than bootstrapping. And the things that I like most was, okay, here we have something, here we are. How the hell are we going to make a customer journey out of this? Because I had no examples whatsoever. I was the first. So it's constant customer feedback, asking everyone of your staff, please think with me. I don't know this stuff. Trust me, I'm your boss, but I don't know. And that's the culture that was actually perfect for this type of scenario where new market, new tech. So we grew a lot, and because the culture was so good, our reviews went sky high. And that's how I actually still approach business every day. Just be open for everything and not stubborn. And,
cool. So it's almost like, it's funny, you're Googling, how do I be an entrepreneur? And so your Google food's pretty strong then, your ability to actually
I'm so sickly good at Googling, yeah. I honestly think that's a skill. If someone has skill set Google on his website, on his resume, I hire that person instantly.
Yeah, the first thing that they do, because there are a lot of like coding boot camps that my friends have gone through, the first thing is Google food. Like, how good is your Google food skills? What can you do? What can you find? Yeah, and that it's
trust. You can learn anything if you just look hard enough and just go to Code Academy, whatever. You can learn stuff by just being interested and finding out how stuff works.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, most people, it's like We are connected like it's a giant hive mind. Everything on this world, everything that could ever be thought of is pretty much out there if you're willing to just take some time to go and learn. And then the tricky bit is not only just to consume it, but produce. Or that juxtaposition of learning, it's one half. The other half is actually, do you have the balls to go out and try something, right? Are you willing to actually put it?
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you're just going to consume and never produce anything. So
So that's the big difference. So when I don't know the right word, but when I steer and I coach my employees, or my coworkers, however the right word is, I always focus on the mindset first. So how did you come to your decision? Even if it's a good decision or a bad decision, I really don't care about the result at all. Because if I focus on the result, I'm going to give you that example. But the thought process behind it is what triggers me. If someone had as a good result, but his thought process behind it was not good, I'm going to flame him. Even if he has a very good track record, I don't care at all. Because if you're going to do this all the time, in the end, you're not going to do well. So the how do you approach things? Are you result oriented or are you process oriented? I don't want the result oriented people, even though people in solicitations when they apply for a job, they think that's a good thing. I'm result oriented. Well, if I'm gonna hire someone who's rich, do I want the guy who won the lottery, or do I want the guy who actually worked a lot to get rich? The guy who won the lottery, if he does that process all the time, he's going to lose all his money because it's a long-term negative value decision to buy a ticket. So that person who won the lottery, he's probably not that good. So results don't really matter a lot. It's the process behind it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because the process is something that will actually get you there repeatedly. It's a proven process, right? You want more something that's a proven process, which is, in business is probably like, grit and transparency and, ability to learn and apply yourselves versus, I made X amount of money back in the day. Well, just because you caught it at the right time.
Yeah.
Or that might be.
Or the people on LinkedIn who have like X Google, X this, X that. Okay, I don't care.
What'd you do? What'd you do?
What did you actually do? Show me your KPIs. Show me the colleagues who were positive about you. Whatever. Just your title doesn't mean shit to me.
Yeah, but people's reviews of other people, I think, is so critical. And that was one of the mistakes that I made when I was hiring people and bringing them in. Is not saying, "Oh wow, look at all the stuff you said." Oh great, these are all the stuff you've done. Can I talk to the people who you've done it with and let's have a conversation with them?
Yeah.
Because then you'd really start to find out real quick. Because then they'll go, "Ooh, actually, I can't share that." And then okay.
Do you go over people's backs, or are you actually a team player? And did you together get the results? One of my best salespeople is the best example I give a lot of time. One of my best salespeople was a biologist. He had never done sales in his life, but it's just in him, and he just the way he thought and the way he convinced people, that just worked. I never had a better one.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's take a look at this. We got 48 seconds on the clock. Let's go take a look at these videos. I think I can share the screen here. I'm going to go to this window. I'm going to share system audio. I'm going to hit share. We're going to try this out. All right. We see this right here?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to hit play. Nice. I like the logo here at the end here. All right. I want to stop.
It was just my editor. Anyway.
Cool, man. So it's a room scale PvP shooter, cops versus robber experience.
Yeah, and it's co-location. So it's only intended for location-based entertainment, not for consumers. Well, unless you have a 10 by 10 meter or 32 by 32 feet room. So yeah, it's for location-based VR, and the co-location part is quite important because you actually see people at the same spot where you are at. So it's super intuitive. There is no teleportation required whatsoever. So this is the first time, because of the wireless stuff, you can super easily access the early majority rather than the early adopters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what all of our business units focus on. It's the early majority.
Yeah.
And we're finally at that stage.
Well, it's awesome. I mean, looking at that makes a lot of sense, because as long as you have a big empty room, you can put people in there and get them to have a great time. I saw that also you had a lot of, humanoid things with the faceplate on there, so you can have low graphics, so you don't need to really stress on actually trying to make that uncanny valley thing where it's
exactly.
Creepily weird looking humans trying to pretend like they're humans, and then you also need to go, no, I know you're trying to trick me. I am falling for it. Yeah.
This like super realistic stuff that isn't actually required to be immersed, and a lot of people get confused by that. It's just it needs to fit, it needs to work, and it needs to be. You need to accept that a world and all the assets in it are in that environment realistic.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, then talking about that, then talk to me a bit about, you talking about what you need to do to feel immersed. So what are the elements that people need to feel or do to really feel immersed in a virtual space?
Yeah. So first of all, your latency needs to be at a high enough point that your eyes believe it. Then spatial audio is critical, because that's what gets you out of it the easiest. Just imagine if just your headset one side just knocks off, you'll get annoyed instantly. Then inverse kinematics. Not a lot of people know what it is, but it needs to fit where you are. So even though if your hand is here, it needs to know that your elbow is below it, stuff like that. Then the calibration part. So if you do co-location, you have to have it near perfect. If I want to touch your shoulder, I have to expect that your shoulder and not touch your chin or whatever at that point. And the easiest way to check that is if people are going to run within 2 minutes. Then okay, they trust it, it's fine. And if people are still hesitant, then you failed. It's quite a simple test.
Yeah, and because the reason why you have a full space, 32 by 32 feet, or say 10 meters by 10 meters, is because you want people to move. You want them to move their bodies, right? You want them to run, you want them to slide, you want them to jump, whatever it might be.
Yeah, just like real laser tag, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what you made, basically a virtual reality laser tag inside of there, which is fun. It's intuitive. People get it, and they can go through it. Okay, is there
from a marketing perspective, that's also good to know, because people are going to like it, but people need to first know that it's there. So the guys we sell it to, the girls, they are the entertainment centers, and they need to have the tools to sell it to others. So we could also create a concept that's like super unfamiliar, which might for the VR tech part be more impressive, but you need to get it to the market as well. And people who are going to play this game, they have never done VR, so they need something to hold on to, so that we expect others to say play VR laser tag rather than play this title of our game. So
So you're talking about making it really intuitive. So when people who don't know anything about VR, because that's the thing about coming to these places, like one of my games is in a whole bunch of VR arcades, right? It's a candy climbing game. You climb across a whole bunch of pieces of candy and all that jazz. But it's very simple. People understand the concept of grab, climb. That's the entirety of really the game. So there's different types of players that are going to be playing these experiences, and the ones that you're really appealing to are people that are coming for an experience that maybe have never put on a headset before, but that within 30 seconds can kind of get up and go. Is that the right audience?
People don't want to feel stupid. That's the main reason. So this is not something like a VR escape room where you're in for 60 minutes and you have the time to get acquainted. This type of experience, people want to get in and get out in 4 minutes. And within that 4 minutes, they have to have fun as well. You don't have the time to explain them. So the onboarding should just be, here's your headset, this is how you tighten it, that's it. That's the only explanation you can manage. And simple things are like, okay, you have your Oculus controller. If we put a gun model 3D print in it, so that we don't have to explain that the trigger is the trigger, not the grip.
Yeah.
the trigger is always below the gun, and I realized that this is a gun, so this is the trigger. We don't have to explain that. Stuff like that helps with the onboarding stuff as well. So it's not only customer focused, but also operator focused. And that mainly derives from my own frustration from running the arcade.
Yeah, I've noticed that because I when we built originally for our game, we found out that we were a big hit for like birthday parties, right? And the reason being is that you can put in 10 screaming kids and they'll all instantly get the game, right? Yeah. They can get in right away. And as an operator, having to go into each person, put on the headset, get them all situated, tell them, don't click this, you click that. No, don't do this. You're lost. I got to go find you. And you try, it's like herding cats, right? You're trying to herd these cats and you're like, oh my God. So I like it because you saw it from both the operator perspective and also the person's perspective that's actually going to be going through the experience.
Yeah.
What do you think are the biggest mistakes that people make when they try to make these types of like location-based entertainment games?
Yeah. A lot of developers focus first on the game itself, and they don't really look at the demands of their prospective end customer. And even more, they skip the operator in between. That person that gets skipped most of the time. Because in a lot of time, initially it will be made for consumers, and then there's a thing called VR arcade. Let's just port it a bit, and here you go. No, okay, it works in some cases, but still in the end, it will. The doorbell. I don't know. Okay, he's gonna have a.
It's okay. Okay, so don't skip the operator, is what you're saying on that one.
Yeah, just don't skip him, and just know who you are developing for, and also if you're gonna make a game, so compare a game like I don't know, an escape room to Keep Talking Nobody Explodes. And I think a lot of people know that. Keep Talking Nobody Explodes. You only need one VR headset and people around it, so asynchronous playing. For the business case for the operator, it's super. Okay, he called us. So sorry. Can I get it?
Yeah, go ahead, get it. I'm gonna talk about this while you go there. Okay.
Sorry.
Welcome to a live show, everybody. This is how the game is rolling. And so what we're talking about this, and this is one of the things that I've noticed when we were making our first game, which is called Sweet Escape VR, and is the fact that the operators are really the main evangelists of your application. So when a group of kids or a group of people come to the VR arcade, one of the things that they come across is this, is they go, okay, what should we play, right? And it's really up to the operator to recommend whatever experience that they think is best. And so for an operator, they want something you're going to have a good time, but at the same time, not only the person who's going through it, the participant, whether it's the birthday kids or the family, whoever's showing up to the arcade are going to have a good time, but also you're going to want to be able to have it easy for the operator. So some advice for anybody that might be thinking about building a location-based entertainment game is to think about it. How do you make it as easy as possible for the operator, low friction, to be able to use? And if you think about this in terms of products, some people try to jam value in to try to make it the most value possible, but they don't think of the friction on the side. How can you make the friction as low and as easy as possible for the operator to get up and use? Because that's going to be what they recommend. Hey, Buddha, welcome back.
Hi, hello. A customer just handed back 2 headsets. She ran it for us.
Got it. Okay, cool.
So anyway, so the operator part, and especially in America, you have a lot of arcades where they run booths. So people just go in, one headset, one player, and they pay for that. But the way I started just from the beginning is, okay, I wanted to divide the time from one headset to multiple people. So really focus on I ran a lot. Really focus on the asynchronous playing and make it a social experience. So I compared the model more to bowling rather than the model of laser tag. So when you go bowling with 5 people, you don't rent 5 lanes. It's just not a thing you do. So why shouldn't it be the same for the VR headset? So especially for this game as well, we really focus on how can we entertain a lot of people that are not in VR. The person in VR is always going to have a good time. So if you really focus on how do you get players around it to have a good time as well, your business model goes through the roof.
Got it. Yeah. So part of this, there's two models. One is synchronous play, right? You're playing at the same time, and the other one is just the play of actually everybody getting up and taking turns. So like if you're at like a batting cage arena or somewhere else, right? Like you're going in and you're taking turns, and then part of it is, talking trash on how the other person did, or commenting, or something about that side experience. That's awesome.
And if you look at esports in general, there are like stadiums of people watching other people play. That's what happens with streaming with Twitch. It is already a thing. People even have to be in the same room to spend a lot of time just watching at someone playing a game. People don't mind watching that. It's leisure activity as well. So why can't a leisure center also have that type of model? Maybe not with all games. For example, escape room is always one-on-one, one-headed, one person. But yeah, just embrace that model. Just look at the best practices in multiple sectors and see how you can get those things into your game, into your entertainment center, whatever. So that part is what I really focus on with consulting other arcades as well.
Got it. Now, let me ask you this. So you also run VREsports.com, right? And I feel like that you made
I ran it officially because I still have it, but I'm a bit too busy to do that. But it's still a functioning website. Yeah.
You own it. You just don't operate it so much.
Yeah.
Well, so can you talk to me just a bit? I'm feeling that there's a crossover between what you've built out, let's say the Cops and Robbers and these esports like on-site activations, and also this VREsports.com. Can you talk to me about how they've kind of integrated any inspiration that went back and forth?
Oh, there's so much potential that lies there. I just don't have the time to do it all. I was looking so long for someone to help me manage that, and I didn't succeed. Well, I did find some people, but they weren't the best fit. I'm still waiting for the right girl, guy or gal to come along. You can do a lot with it. But initially, the idea was quite simple. So just when the lockdown started, back then I still had a team of like 40 employees for entertainment centers, and the first time I found myself being home and not actually having to do stuff. So I picked up my VR headset again, which as a VR owner, ironically, you don't do a lot. And then I realized, well, fuck, I have all these employees and nobody has a VR headset because they play VR at my place. So I didn't have anyone to play with. Like, how shit is that? They have a VR business. That was okay. Now I want to find some people to play with. I could go to a forum or to Reddit, of course. But they're either going to play other games or they're going to be not in my league. So, leagues. Well, you have League of Legends, you have Bronze League, Silver League, etc. We needed a matchmaking rating, an ELO, for VR games. And recently, a couple have actually implemented, like Blaston was one of the best in that part. That's embedded already in the game. And there are some esports games like Echo and Onward that offer an API for someone else to do that stuff with. But there was no real general platform. There I went again with my ADD brain. Fuck it, let's go. Let's just find how we're going to do this. I'm going to be bored anyway for a couple months. So I purchased VREsports.com along with another site, VREvolution.gg. I just like the name. With the intent of making VREsports.com a news website, just like the best practice of ESL, the Esports League. ESL also has a pro.esl. And the pro. Is just the competition, and the ESL.com is the news site. So I wanted to have that relation. Then I realized this is a whole different sector, and that's heavily focused on community and moderators and stuff like that. And I'm good at a lot of things, but that's not one of the things I'm good at. Just managing people and keeping them in line. I just want to be the strategy guy and the dreamer and stuff. And how can we innovate on this? And not the nitpicking type of thing, which sadly does need to be done in order to create a big community. And also writing content and stuff. If you haven't noticed, I cannot sit still for a long time. So I don't need to be the guy who writes a lot of articles. I can if I'm really into it, but that's a rare occasion. So I really needed someone else to go on a path with me. But then, okay, how are you going to pay them? You must need funding, because it will not be a revenue generating model that one for a long time. And to all over that stretch of time to pay, like, I don't know, 3 people, it would be undoable. So you needed volunteers, and that's when COVID retreated a bit back again. I decided, okay, which path do I need to take? And okay, I'm just going to sit on it. If I find someone who wants to help me, I gladly want to be the strategy guy, but I cannot be the executive side, the operational side. And yeah, so it's just still sitting there. And in the worst case scenario, well, in 5 years, the domain will be worth quite a lot, I guess. So fine.
In the meantime, you're looking for like some sort of community manager, somebody that really wants to take it on and run with it, and that can actually go
it's
and
got
build
great potential, but I'm just not going to be the one to actually do it. But yeah, it can be a lot of things, and I can teach a lot of people a lot about business cases, Excel spreadsheets, how to look at things, how to run it, how to connect people, because I got quite a good network. But all of them need to get paid if they want to do stuff. They're a bit too high level.
Yeah, totally, man. Well, it's just, I mean, it's a full-time job. You're managing a community of people, and people just think of community managers, because what I've noticed is that with community managers, like, if you're having to do it for free, they're really enthusiastic in the beginning, and then there's a steep drop off. And so, and that's what happens. Unless they're being paid for, unless there's KPIs, unless there's management, it's like, oh, this is fun, and then it's like, oh, then you find out it's a job, it's work. It takes effort to run a community, and so.
Or they realize how much they've learned in a couple of months, and hey, I've learned so much, I can do stuff. Oh wait, I can do also stuff at other places where I get money for it.
Yeah, totally.
People come to that realization.
It's a bit of an incubation zone for people to come in.
So long story short, it needed investment. I also started a pitch deck and stuff. But yeah, at that point, COVID retreated. So there is a pitch deck ready for it. But
Oh, for the esports.com, for that thing? Okay.
For the couple of the ranking sites, so Evolution and the esports.com. That's only when it would work to get all the funnel and stuff.
Do you also run a Discord with this? Is Discord connected?
There is a Discord, but it's the same thing. People have been asking, okay, when are we going to do another tournament? Because I host the tournaments, of course. Well, when we have someone who wants to run it, I guess. We have a template and everything, but we need someone responsible to get it done, to get shit done. And maybe I can find some interns. That's not a problem at all. But still, someone needs to manage those interns as well.
Yep. I get it, and that's the thing. And there's so much time in the day. Where do you put your energy? Where do you put your focus?
Yeah. And that was a really tough decision, because I had a lot of passion. I saw where it could go. But in the end, I also have a fiance and stuff. So.
Oh, nice. There's definitely trade-offs there, right? You can say,
happiness versus passion. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Absolutely. So let me ask you, in terms of making a good esports game or an esports tournament, what do you think are some critical factors that people often overlook?
The game itself. Well, again, the part that's being overlooked is the marketability of it. So, in my opinion, the most innovative and in the future best type of VR game would actually be Echo Arena. That's out for a long time, but how the hell are you gonna get the early majority for this? It's almost impossible. Yeah, it's like Ender's Game. Wait, you don't know what Ender's Game is? It's like Zero Gravity. Or you don't know how that would work. So you don't. It's like you see a perfume commercial on TV. How that? Okay, I see Celine Dion. She probably smells nice. I don't know. I see George Clooney. Okay, I know how it smells. No, you don't. It's just no. And that's the same thing with communicating VR. And people really overlook that. So yeah, but yes, it is a perfect game, but it is only for the early adopters. And that's the sad part about that esports vibe. So Onward is actually much easier to convey to a wider audience.
Because most people know about, like, it's a mil sim, right? It's a military simulation kind of game, and so people they intuitively get it because it's been around for a long time. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's like Battlefield in real life, for real. And instead of the character, you are the guy. There you go. It's the explanation. And also, when just imagine it being live streamed on a big stage. I was so close to getting there as well. Anyway, if you film the guy in VR and at the same time in the same shot, you have the operator view, so the top-down view, you instantly see the connection between the two. If you do the same thing with Echo Arena, it's not going to be that's going to have the same connection, because then you see the guy standing like this for the frisbee, but on the VR, 2D view, you just see a robot that's floating, and that's, of course, we get it, but my mom wouldn't. My mom would get the guy lying down and sniping, and she sees an avatar sniping.
So, okay. So you're saying that because my physical body, and if I'm showing my physical body as a recording, right? I'm recording that, and I side by side that, like me and you are side by side right now, it doesn't match 1-to-1. And because it doesn't match 1-to-1, there's a disconnect between what the physical person's doing and what's actually happening in the game.
Yeah. So that decreases the marketability of the thing, and that pushes you much farther and farther into a niche type of area, which is totally fine. But yeah, from the start of development, I think a lot of people don't realize that part. Okay, what bottlenecks are there that cannot be overcome, and then how do we play those cards? A lot of people just start developing a game because it is awesome, and it is, of course, definitely. But they don't take that stuff into account. And in the way you communicate your stuff, the way you do your development, I don't know, for how far you want to take it in the motion sickness department, for example. What slang do you want to use? What type of people you want to hire? What type of trade shows you want to go to? All that stuff is a result of the bottlenecks you choose or not choose to ignore at the first start of your concept. And that stuff we really were, how do you call it? Aware of.
Mindful, aware enough.
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at this, when you're looking to actually make like these, so you talked about on terms of one is designing the game, and the other one is creating a tournament. Now you started talking a little bit about the tournament needing to have that 1-to-1 match it for marketability. Are there other things about the tournament that is something to be considerate of, or things that
so your programming needs to be as such that you could maybe not instantly from the get-go, but you have to have the foundation of your game in such a way that you, in the end, can just deliver an API to any company, and then it can then program a leaderboard out of it. Because only then other people are gonna want to create their own commercial side off of it. I don't know. This is not something I'm gonna advise at all, but you could go into sports gambling and stuff. But in order for that to happen, you need to have the API for the results to come through instantly and to get that stuff going. Otherwise, you can only do the betting of, okay, at the start of the game, the betting closes, and only then let's see what happens. But for soccer and stuff, you can have, okay, at the 89th minute, you can still bet. Oh, by the way, for your American, soccer is actual football with the ball, and it's 90 minutes, so 89th minute is the last minute of the game. But so that analogy is quite important. So and I think a lot of listeners will think I'm going out on a limb, but it's the interconnectedness of everything that I absolutely adore, and that I'm, well, if I can say so myself, I'm pretty good at. So okay, if this, then what influences it all? What are the things in your value proposition, in your how are you gonna look into all the stakeholders, your future stakeholders, and based on all that stuff, then go. And not, okay, this is awesome, let's just make it.
Have you seen like VR sports gambling? I mean, unofficially, that you don't have to name any names, but are there things like, because is there anything in the areas of, because I know Vegas has now a lot of VR arcades are opening up in Vegas, right? And I know there's other things. Is there anything in the areas of VR sports gambling that's going on besides poker?
I know, I've seen through my timeline a couple of people who wanted to start it, and those were not people I never heard of. But also, if you look at it from a bigger picture, I think that will be quite a while because the people who are betting at this stuff, at least on a higher level, they want to be sure that it can never be rigged and stuff. And if you think farther, the development team behind it needs to be super ethical. They need to get screened, and we're not at that stage by far. And if we were, those would only be the biggest ones. And I think the biggest ones at this point do not want to be associated with that type of stuff, because they are still into anything that can hurt us might break our entire brand. So there are much more other things that they can spend their time on that will be more valuable per time spent than going into the sports betting side. So based on that assumption, because this is a deduction here, that stuff could only happen if you do it from the start. And if people do it from the start, then they're not going to get as big because the early majority has not been accessed yet. So I 100% think this will be a thing in the future. And if it is there now, it will just be some underground side betting, like, hey, how long can you hold your breath? I can do it longer. Let's pay it 10 euros for who does it the longest. 100% that happens in Discord and stuff, but not on an official platform. I'm quite sure that that's not there.
Yeah, so that I don't know there's any betting VR Discords that you can go pop into.
Well, that's PokerStars VR, but that's not an actual. Well, yeah, it is a game sort of, but
what is it called?
PokerStars. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
okay. I don't know how general knowledge this is, because I was a poker player, so I don't know how far in the jargon I am now. But still, PokerStars VR only has play money and doesn't have actual money. And I think that's also partly because the fun about PokerStars VR is that you can actually sit on this. Well, you can walk towards the spot where your opponent is sitting and just annoy him, and that's fun. But because of that fact, the play money parts would be hard, I guess. It's just a great marketing stunt on their end.
Yeah, I guess what are the fringe things that you've seen, like the gambling, fringe, the outside edges, the things that are.
That word.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. So what are things that you've seen that are like controversial, at the edge, things that are out there that are, like poker or like anything else? What are the things out there that you've seen that have been coming around that are starting to pick up momentum?
Oh, okay. The last part, because you added gain momentum. I don't know the direct answer to that, because I was thinking about some controversial stuff.
Like what?
That did not gain momentum, like meeting your deceased daughter in VR type of shit. Like what? Wow. Okay.
That was made by I think it was like a Chinese studio or something did that.
It's Asian, of course.
Yeah. I watched that, and that thing made me want to bawl, like, because it was a mother, right, that was going to meet her deceased daughter, right, and they recreated her as an avatar, right, and then she came up and she's like, mama, right.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's controversial for sure. That's on top of my list there. So yeah.
You know what I've seen about, like, in that same vein that makes me think about that is, have you seen those AI applications where you pull your app over the photo of like a photo of somebody, and they kind of come to life and they move around and they like kind of like look at, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that's not even doesn't. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine.
Sure, but imagine if they did that in VR, where like you could actually take a photo of your deceased person or whatever it might be, and then just takes that photo and brings it into VR, and now that person's
developed. It's the same code. They make a 3D model of your photo, and you just have to port it to VR. Our developers can just do it like within a week or something. That's not hard.
That's so. But for the use cases of looking at or having conversations with your deceased relatives, because you could take AI, voice AI too, and then you could have some dude on the chat on the back end just typing up words and sending it out to have it sound like.
I just shared a sick deep fake thing. Maybe you've seen it come by in timeline. It's from Morgan Freeman. That I'm not a real person. Let's see.
I don't know if I've seen it. I'm not a real.
VR guys. It's probably on YouTube because it went sort of viral. Morgan Freeman deep fake. Yeah, here he is. You could just YouTube that, and I think you should share your screen on this one because people are gonna be like, "What?" Here.
Is it Morgan Freeman as a deep fake? All right, let's go back.
It's from a green logo on the top right.
Okay, let me see here. Did you?
Yeah, open your audio too.
Okay, wait. Did you send it to me or did I?
Oh, you can just YouTube it yourself. I thought that's easier for you.
Oh, is it Morgan Freeman?
This is not Morgan Freeman. That's the quote, and a deep fake singularity.
This is not Morgan Freeman. Oh my God, yeah, I see. Oh my God, yeah. See, this is the thing where it's like seeing is believing, but then you have something like this where you can't actually tell. You can't actually tell what it is. So this is gonna rock some people. We're gonna play this just for a second because this is fascinating.
Not Morgan Freeman, and what you see is not real. Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not.
Man.
What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being? Would you believe me? What is your perception of reality? Is it the ability to capture, process, and make sense of the information our senses receive? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real? Or is it simply the ability to feel? I would like to welcome you.
Okay, we're going to stop that. That is some freaky business.
Yep.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
those are Dutch people. They just
I mean, we're stepping into this reality where what scares you about the future of VR tech? What things like this? Is there anything that's on the edges of this that make you actually stop and go, "Oh, I'm deep in VR, but I don't know if I'm going to go that deep"?
On the VR part, no. It's more on the Neuralink part combined with VR, that type of stuff. So there are, of course, genres I wouldn't get into with VR, but that's not really tech related. That's just content related. Okay. And that's a big distinction. People really don't see that distinction a whole lot. Yeah, on the hardware side, a VR headset with a brain scanner connected to a proper actual AI, that would be scary as fuck. So, because then you have all the data to copy you. Yeah. And if in the future there will be a metaverse, because there's not a metaverse right now, guys, it doesn't exist yet, just to be clear. If there is a future in a metaverse in the future, then your VR life, if you will be quite important. Just like now, your smartphone is an extension of you. There's a lot of info on your smartphone, and you just carry it around. A lot of people here will probably feel naked if they don't have a bulb in their pocket, and they have like a scary moment when it's not there, pressing against their leg. The same thing will happen with VR. So if you read the book of Ready Player One, or listen to the book, by the way, Will Wheaton of that's very good. Anyway, they really show you the world, how it could look. For example, you go to Planet Ludus, and in Planet Ludus you get your education. So your avatar will be just you, and people will accept that. So if you have all the data and you have someone or some company who is going to use the data to copy you, well, your second life, not to name drop, because anyway, your second life will be copied. So that's a super invasive version of identity theft. It's not just documental identity theft. It's, well, virtual, and in that case, real life identity theft, because real life and the virtual world will be interconnected with each other. So your avatar would be, I don't know, a part of your password, because people would just scan your zeros and ones on your avatar, including, I don't know, your thought patterns and the way you say something, and you're good to go. You got past. You can enter this world, where your virtual banking world, or whatever. yeah, and that will not be hard to do with all the data out there. Yeah,
That's crazy. Oh, there's two pieces on that. Before I talk about mind-blowing stuff, I want to talk about this metaverse thing. So what is your definition of the metaverse? Because you say it's not here yet. So what is your definition and what does here look like?
Well, in my opinion, okay, we could still call a lot of things the metaverse, but then we need to decide on a new definition of how you would call a world such as Ready Player One.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, and I'm fine with that. But at this point, there is no replace word for it, because I see in my timeline every time, hey, I made a random VR environment in Unreal Engine. I just downloaded a template and I clicked run. I made a metaverse. No, you didn't. You made a VR program, mister. Mm-hmm. That's all you did. Mm-hmm. Even a 360 video is going to be called a metaverse these days. And it just takes away the shine of the people that are actually on the front end of that part that also call it a metaverse, rightfully as they should. But yeah, then people are going to steal us. It's like the word awesome is a good example of that one. My brownies were awesome. Really, were your brownies awesome or were they just delicious? Because if I'm going to the moon, I want to have a word for how my experience was. And I'm going to say, that trip was awesome. Just like the brownie I had. No, it's not the same thing. But there's no other words for expressing your amazement.
Yeah.
So that word got hijacked. And that's the same thing with a metaverse.
Sure, right,
that's why we need another word.
I've seen it too. And that's what I've noticed, that there's some different definitions when people say the word metaverse, right? And when Zuckerberg came out first and said, meta, right? What happened was my definition of the metaverse is a multiplayer virtual reality application where it's a large scale kind of MMO thing where there's lots of people in it, right? That is to my definition.
That's just World of Warcraft VR.
Okay, so then what is the difference between the World of Warcraft VR and the metaverse?
The difference is if you are gonna play Valheim or if you're gonna play another type of like a Skyrim, you can take the same axe you found in World of Warcraft and use it there.
Okay, so what you're talking about is the crypto side of it, which is decentralized, full autonomy.
Crypto, it could be anything basically. Yeah,
but you're talking about
other places. Yeah,
but crypto you're talking about is decentralized. It's decentralized ownership, right? Yeah. So I have complete ownership. I have privacy. I have economy. I have those elements, right? So you're talking about, if I have an axe, I can take my axe and I can bring it into multiple places where that axe works. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, a good example is Rec Room, for example. It's not a metaverse, but it could act like one. So let's make a hypothetical thing that the lobby of Rec Room could be your own personal lobby, and every door you go into is a door for your school, a door for your bank, and a door for something else. And so that could in the future be owned by Meta, by ByteDance, or any other company. So those companies could have a integration with your bank app. There's a lot of for Google has integrations with a shitload of stuff. You just log in with your Google credentials, and you don't have a password. That same type of thing in VR, that will be, in my definition, a metaverse. So Google will be, in this case, the VR Google will be the enabler. That will be the main thing, your base, your VR home. And just like now, I got this shirt on, and I had this shirt on when I went to my business meeting, and I have it on now. That's just like in real life.
Got it. So it's really being able to actually move you and your objects and everything in across those different platforms. So we need some sort of shared agreement. Like right now, PayPal, for example, PayPal is integrated across a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And so there's, I won't call that a metaverse, but that wallet is
within multiple metaverses. That's what PayPal could do. Google might be a better example because Google is more an identity of you.
Yes, it is.
Than PayPal is.
Yeah. Yeah, so then you can have your Google identity that get brought with you, then brings all of your search history or whatever that stuff is. Yeah. One other thing that does to know about, do you know about a person named Mary Lou Jespin? Have you heard of her at all? And Open Waters?
but not
No.
the rest.
So she used to be the head of Oculus's reality labs. She
Oh.
was the one that like pioneered the glasses for the Quest. She
The
is
predecessor of McCormick.
she is a genius, genius, right? She worked at MIT, got bored in there, got into space. She then made computers super cheap, all the way down to being $100 computers that then she sold like billions of dollars worth in Africa to make that widely available. Then she went from there, from that to Google, there to Oculus, and Oculus that. She realized something. The thing that she realized was that the camera phone, when she was in the Oculus labs, she realized that the camera that is so good on your phone can actually go through your skin and can actually kind of take a look at the blood vessels and that kind of stuff. And if you did an array of them, if you did multiple cameras in a row and you put that on your head, that would operate as a functional MRI machine, as not new tech, not new tech, not new cameras. No, the cameras today. And so for the last 4 years, she opened up her own company called, I think, Open Water, I think it is the name of it or something like that. But it's where it's this brain scanning device that operates as a full MRI scanner, where she said you could literally over time have AR, VR telepathy by hooking that up to your brain and a VR machine, which is, Ready Player 2.
Metaverse doctor visits would be amazing. Would be super efficient.
Oh my God. You just put that in, they scan you?
Yeah, and connected to a some sort of data gatherer in your toilet. And then you got your entire... Oh, it will be a thing. I swear it will be a thing.
No, I agree. So you poop, you have a smart toilet that takes your poop, pulls up the side, right? You grab like a door handle.
The best health device in the future. I swear it.
Oh, God.
I want a smart toilet right now.
You just take it and it just takes it and it processes it, and the smart toilet just scans the poop and then sends it up to wherever. So you get the regular poop scans. You have some sort of blood scanner. Yeah, I can see that.
It can see if you're pregnant and stuff. It can see if you need to have more potassium in your diet, if you have some sort of deficiency, if you need to sleep more, stuff like that. Combine that with a brain scanner in your VR headset, and with some guided meditation if you require it, psychology, you can link that, and you got a full health scan, and you will prevent so many stuff. So it's super into the preventive area. No other doctor can be there, because once you've got the mole, he can analyze it, and then only a month later you get the results. But this is even more detailed than that entire process, which takes at least a month, for example.
Yeah,
I really want that.
You really want that? I mean, I could picture some sort of like, almost like a Roomba, right? As you're sleeping or as you're doing VR, like the vacuum things that go around the place that sweep up, but it's just going over your body. It's just on your body, constantly scanning your body 3D wise. And so, okay, is there any tumors? Is there anything going on? I'm just scanning your body, and you just accept that this
smart T-shirts.
Oh, smart T-shirts. Okay.
Makes you sweat in, and it just has some pressure sensors, and it just recognizes it like micro sensors, whatever. I don't know. Every day you swallow in a pod that you can poop out or whatever, or just have a tag in you that communicates with your shirt, and then you have both sides of your body.
Gut health check.
One entire health app with your smart toilet, and that connects to a doctor, and a doctor only goes when he sees a notification. Okay, this is a serious situation. You need to call this person now.
3D then scan says, okay, I'm going to give you some precision medicine. We're going to go ahead and download for your 3D printer. We're going to Amazon you the images. All you're going to do is take component A and B and put it in your 3D printer, and we're going to go ahead and make some precision drugs for you to take for that specific issue that you're having that we detected in your poop.
Yeah. And in the brain scans combined, then because that's a subjective thing. The brain scan, for example, depression is not really detecting the brain. Is a combination of your the way you act and the way your
behavior.
mindset. Behavior. Mindset is not in the brain. You cannot scan it. So within your VR session, the therapist just scans the way. On the data side, scans your pupils, the way your voice trembles and stuff like that, along with the things you are actually saying, and interprets that in a human way that only a human can do. And well, then the person can decide, okay, based on this, I recommend you this VR app in this level, and we can track your data, how you're doing. And then you make a gamification of your mental health thing, which is much better in my
I
opinion.
love it. I love it. It makes that sounds so fun. And a little utopia, a little dystopia. There's a little bit of everything kind of mixing in there a bit.
The good and the bad. We talked about
the yeah.
stuff, and we talked about the good stuff.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, so let me ask you this. So you have this new application coming out that you're working on to go to LBE Entertainment. You have this VR esports website thing you're doing. You got all this stuff that you're working on, this future of the VR. What for you is your holy grail in this whole VR/metaverse in place? For you, what is the thing that you're striving to achieve?
Well, on a personal level, it would be more like I'd love from the first time I did VR, I loved opening people's eyes, like, whoa, this is possible! Holy shit, I see a new color type of look. I knew all the colors of the rainbow, and now I see infrared. What the hell? I didn't know. Or hey, what the fuck? I have wings. I can fly now. All the things I can do with my wings. That type of amazement, I wish that to everyone. That's the personal goal, and that can be done with any app, whatever. And for example, when I in my teaching classes, when a lot of people haven't done VR, I just put them in Tilt Brush, and honestly, I make them draw a house. So draw a house. Like, okay, then I draw a house, and then they do the lines. Okay, now draw it in 3D. So they do concave lines, or not 3D lines, so 2D.
Yeah, 2D lines,
like they're used to. And so this is not 3D. And then yes, it is. Literally half of the people still say yes, it is 3D. No, stand here. And like, what the fuck? What? It's flat. Yes, it is flat. How do you do that? And still, 50% of those at that point still don't know they can push. They can push their hand forward. It just doesn't click. And before I start any of my lectures, I really want that fixed, because otherwise I cannot reach them in the mindset I want to be them to be in. And that's the easiest example. And that stuff I really love. And yeah, on a professional level, so the things we just talked about, the entertainment stuff and the esports, that's half of what I focus on now. With the other half of my business, I do B2B consulting. So the thing you introduced me with, we're bridging the gap between the tech and the market. Well, the entertainment will always be at the front end. I'm not gonna claim I'm on the front end on that one. But what I can do, and what I'm quite sure I'm good at, is the people who are gonna come to me. Hey, I want to do something with VR. Help me. Those people are by far the majority, and educating them will increase adoption much farther. And also that will get stuff done, because those will be the biggest decision makers. They don't have time to read all about it, to understand the mindset of the early adopters and what they see and what they envision. No, they are the people with the money. They are the CEOs of the non-techie companies. Well, you got to reach them. And a good example is what we're doing now. We're gonna build. So out of one of those questions came the request from a chain of schools, a school board. I don't know. Anyway, okay, we want to add VR to our curriculum. Okay, that's been done before a lot of times, but a lot of times for Oculus Go in 360, you see a body in front of you, and you click on the heart, and the heart comes to you. But I want to. A lot of people probably don't know this, but do you know the Magic School Bus?
Oh yeah.
That type of experience. Take the whole class with you as the teacher, and take them with you in virtual reality, and just delete all the tables and use co-location free roam in your education. But don't make it just a gimmick or just one thing, like when you're going to visit a museum once in a year. No, make it a part of your curriculum. And also, okay, then how are you going to test their skills? You also need to test it in VR, and you need to get the data of it. How do you onboard all those teachers to use that stuff? So the transition of the chalkboard towards tablets, that's quite a big transition. The same transition we want to make from tablets to VR. And there were tablets a long time in education before it was the main thing, because the entire system behind it needed to be embedded too. And well, that's what we're gonna pilot in this project. And in 2025, so in 3 years, it will be a part of their education for
Awesome.
okay, I have to age range. I think that's 13 to 16, 13 to 18. Go younger. I think
so. If part of your holy grail is to really kind of inspire the people that haven't tried this yet, the non-tacky people, then bring them into the virtual world to show them the possibilities, right? To be able to kind of get more of the mass adoption of virtual reality. What is the big dragon? What is the big thing that you need to overcome in order to make that happen?
The biggest counter argument I get is, well, the technology is going so fast and we want to wait until it's ready, whilst not realizing it's already there. And this is the first time since this technology that there's enough evidence, and not only evidence, but also use cases. People are already using it, that VR in any of their sectors, that there's almost no way, if you convey it correctly, for them to bring up that argument. And the wireless VR helped amazingly a lot with this, because not only from the investment perspective, because bringing a PC for every kid is no, and also on the operator side, in this case the teacher, that's just not doable if you have wired VR. And then also came 5G, which is also quite important. And I'm not going to say those headsets are going to be run on 5G because of the personal stuff, but the rise of 5G enabled a lot of other companies to fumble around with it, and those became use cases for just simply the proof of the learning and development impact. And you can use that data to convince the schools, because the schools will always be on a LAN network. Well, they should. On a LAN network that's properly guarded, so the 5G you're not actually going to use, but the data you can use. And again, here comes the best practices from other sectors, even outside of VR and outside of education, that you can use for that. That's the part of our consultancy stuff we do. And personally, that is what best fits all my brainwaves. I don't know the right way to say it.
Yeah. Your zone of genius.
All my head, my stuff in there.
Yeah, the zone of genius where it all fits. That's awesome, man. It's been epic having you on the show, brother. It's been fun to go back and forth with you on the topics. Is there anything else you'd like to let people know about before you tell them how to get a hold of you?
To get a hold of me, I regularly post stuff on LinkedIn to inspire people. I hope to be in Orlando at the end of the year, one of the bigger entertainment trade shows. And let's see, I'm sadly not streaming anymore. That's for good reasons, because I have fun stuff to do. I think LinkedIn is the best guess. If some of the listeners want to take a crack at starting a sort of a business or VR esports and learning a lot of shit, well, let's go. If you have a good idea, a lot of stuff can happen if you just say fuck it and let's do it. You need a little bit of ADD in there, but that'll work.
I love it. All right, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you being on the show. It's been a pleasure and an honor, my friend. Thank you for jamming with me on this topic. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, brother. Take care now. All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Heroes of Reality podcast. Check out heroesofreality.com for more episodes. While you're there, you can also take the Heroes quiz to find out what kind of hero you are. Or, if you have a great story and want to be on the podcast, tell us why your hero's journey will inspire others. Thank you for listening.